Star Wars Rebels Season 4, Episodes 12 and 13, Wolves and a Door and A World Between Worlds. These are two really good episodes, but of course, before we get into the actual episodes this week, next week is the series finale, which I had no idea of. I was watching the promo, I'm like, that's really cool, this is sweet, that's sweet, and then it was like, and even the way it was ending, like before it actually showed, like, boom, like series finale, I was like, oh, it's interesting. They have the Force will be with you always. And I was like, that's interesting, and kind of made it seem all ominous and stuff with Ezra saying it. And then it was like series finale, and the images that they show where it seems like he's kind of mimicking exactly what happened with Kanan, and then kind of this episode where it's like Kanan found out the moment that he was needed most, and it was like there's a lot of pushing towards certain ideas here. So I don't know if they're gonna do that twice. Kill Kanan and then kill Ezra in the series finale. That'd be insane. But I don't know. They're definitely throwing some ominous vibes our way. But it's just crazy. I did not know we were coming back, and it was just gonna be, 3 weeks, and it was just like 2, 4, 6, and we're done. Maybe 7. If it's like an hour long or an hour and a half long series finale. But I, that's nuts. I don't even. I don't know. That's just crazy. It's just crazy that it's ending next week, which, like I said, I wasn't really prepared for that. I never like to know when the shows are about to end anyway, so I never would have actually looked it up. But it's just crazy to see, like, oh, it's done. Like, that's it. Next week, it's all said and done. But these two episodes were definitely great, especially the second. The second episode was, like, probably one of my favorites in the whole series, just because the references, it was hardly, you can hardly even call it references. It was just literally Ezra went into the temple, and he basically went into this temporal plane of existence where he could jump through any time within the Star Wars saga. And like they have, like, through the whole episode, and I loved it so much. It was just clips playing, and like when he first goes in, you hear like Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it wasn't just like, I can't think of the actual actor's name, but the guy that they had play Obi-Wan Kenobi in Clone Wars as well as in this show. But it was like Ewan McGregor, and then they actually had oh my god, I can't think of his freaking name. Alec Guinness, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, they have lines from him, lines from Liam Neeson. They have stuff from the original Star Wars, where it's like you don't know the power of the dark side when Ezra's actually talking to Ahsoka. And I was like, well, that's super cool, because they talk, obviously, with it being Anakin. And it was just like, that is awesome, just the whole way through. And they have Yoda, which I thought was really cool, because Ezra like calls out to Yoda, because Yoda was one of the earlier voices, and that was really the only one that he knew, because he didn't, they had like the one clip where he saw Obi-Wan, and I feel like that was in like season 2 or something, where he was on like the hologram. That was either season 1 or 2. And so, he's not super familiar with that. And plus, that was the younger version compared to the older version of Obi-Wan that he did know. And then, Qui-Gon Jinn, and then Yoda's voice comes up. And I just thought that was so cool. I love the way they did that. And of course, they have Kanan as well. And Ezra's within this crazy plane of existence where he can, jump through time. And we get the answer to what happened with Ahsoka, which I thought was so cool that they tied it back this way, because one of the big things was, okay, well, we know Ahsoka lived from that fight, but it looked like she was holding her arm possibly as if it was cut off, because she was so far away. It was kind of hard to tell if she had both her arms, and I was like, I think she does, but at the same time I was like, I don't really know 100%. And they answer why she was kind of limping that way, because Ezra did pull her from the explosion and he saved her life. And so they're in like this crazy temporal zone, or whatever you want to call it. And so it's like, if I can save you, then that means I can save Kanan. But of course, if he did that, it would have basically made a paradox, and everyone would have died if he'd saved them. So he has to let him go, and then they end up dealing with the Emperor, which I thought was really cool. It didn't go the way I thought. I thought for sure they like clashed lightsabers at some point in the promo that I'd seen, but it was just a bunch of blue fire. That was really sweet. They didn't really explain how he knew what was happening. That was more of the, I would say that was definitely more of the magic side of the Force. Like, there's every once in a while, like especially in this show, they did it. I would say when Darth Maul was coming in, when there's like ghosts and stuff, it was like they really dive into the magic. I think in this show more than most Star Wars things really do. There's definitely some magic elements. Like, he was basically a witch at a cauldron at that point, because I'm like, he shouldn't be able to see them inside this weird plane of existence where they can jump through time pretty much, but he could. And it's like, maybe I can help. And then he starts like basically using force powers to throw like blue flames at them, and he like does like a weird whip thing on Ezra to get him, and Ahsoka saves him, and like she cuts the whip with her lightsabers, and I just thought that was cool. And she gets wounded, so that's how we see why she's holding her stomach and stuff when she gets out. And I was like, this is just really cool. Like this, I think is just really sweet. So I love the way they tied all that in. The Emperor comes in, he's doing that. Sabine dealing with, they may have said the guy's name. I suck at names, but I know that was Malcolm McDowell that played him. So I was like, oh well, that's kind of cool. So that was interesting. Kind of watching that, like knowing the voice and everything. But I just like the way all of the, that second episode. I enjoyed the first episode as well because that was kind of just a normal episode where they're getting into the ideas. But that second one was just like, this is awesome. Like they just go through this whole idea of what the lesson is, and going back to the temple, and it's a new side of the temple that they've never seen before, and him going into this what could be like, it's the ultimate weapon is time travel. So I just thought that was cool. It's like that's such a crazy simple way to do time travel too, where it's like he can just walk to whatever giant event and just pull someone out of it if he wants to and save them, and then they can literally go back to that time. So it was just interesting. It's like, man, that's nuts. But I love the way they handled it. And then ultimately, it's like, hey, saved Ahsoka. She ran back in. She's fine. He jumps. Ezra jumps back through his portal. Everything goes back to normal. And so now Ahsoka will obviously, I would assume she's gonna come in during the last two episodes. So they get out. Sabine makes her escape, which I thought that was a great scene where they basically put rockets on the bottom of the ship and it just goes vertical. I thought that was really cool. Like everything was just sliding, and she she already hopped out, and then she basically jumped on top of a person and used them almost like a surfboard. And then she steals a gun, and she gets to the bottom. She basically just does a tuck and roll and like slides under some debris right before it's too late. And I was like, that was I think that lasted maybe 10 seconds total, but I thought that was such a cool sequence with her like jumping through this building as it's going vertical. So I love that. And then everybody gets together. They close. Ezra closes the portal. It kind of knocks them out a bit. Then they all take off, and somehow with him closing the portal, it like wiped everything out, and they were at the temple, and everything was just a completely flat surface. And so that was an interesting moment at the end as well. And it was him saying goodbye officially to Kanan, and saying goodbye to the Doom Wolf and everything. So I thought that was great. I loved the second episode. I'd say it was probably one of my favorites just because of some of the stuff that they did with using all the old movie clips and the way they kind of tied it in as he's learning his lesson, or when they talk about Ahsoka and it being Anakin, and so they play a lot of the Darth Vader clips. I was like, this is a really good way to do that. And then of course the fact that they have to deal with the Emperor, that was just really freaking cool at random. So a lot of the stuff that they did, pretty much everything they did in that second episode, as far as I'm concerned, was pretty much perfect. And it's just, like I said, it's just crazy going into the series finale. Like, that's just nuts. But really enjoyed both the episodes. But, obviously the highlight was definitely the second one. The first one was good. They go through, they have their moments where, they knock out the two people. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm following protocol and this and that. And them trying to figure out this puzzle. I did enjoy that for sure, where, you have Sabine where it's like, okay, I think this and this. It's like, okay. And then it's like, all right, well, go force, like Ezra, it's your turn, and do your thing. You're the force user here. I'm just the artist. I can interpret this. Do your thing. So I actually like that moment where they kind of had to bounce off of each other with their strengths. So really enjoyed that. Enjoyed both episodes, of course. Would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. Obviously I was shocked going into that promo and it saying series finale, because I was just gonna ask what you guys thought about the second episode, but series finale, 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes worth, don't really know. It still said 8:30, so I would assume we're still only getting like the 2 episode thing, just a full hour finale. I would love an hour. I would love 2 hours. But yeah, going into the series finale, I would love to know how you guys think it's gonna end, because oddly enough, with the way things have been going, it's kind of been, at least for the second half, it's kind of been its own story a little bit. Like Kanan dying, of course, that's definitely its own compact story. And then it's like, okay, well, that led to an issue with Lothal, and it seems like that's kind of what they're focusing on. Like these last 2 episodes are going to be, they save Lothal, but that's really it. And obviously, knowing the movies, there's other people to do some of the bigger things, but it seems like that's what they're going to be focusing on. And we'll see Ahsoka kind of come in and help them basically liberate Lothal officially, and then you will see how that plays out going into Rogue One. Maybe Ezra's just like, well, I've saved my people. I don't want to get involved in that anymore because of what happened with Kanan, and I need to stay here, something like that. So I would love to know your predictions for how you guys think the last two episodes are going to play out, how you guys are feeling going into these last two episodes, going into the series finale. That's insane. But just in general, we'll definitely want to know your predictions, what you guys expect to see, what you guys want to see, even going into the series finale of Star Wars Rebels is pretty nuts. It's ending, and it's just crazy that it's ending so fast. But definitely want to know what you guys are looking forward to seeing, what you hope to see, what you expect to see. And of course, like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about these two episodes. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.